How you doing? Carlos Ramirez, owner of NVSAUDIO in Roselle, New Jersey. We have another beautiful Harley in for another wiring rescue. I have a suspicion that this was wired by the same person that wired the other Harley that we just fixed, because I see a lot of things in the bills that look similar, a lot of the same mistakes, but there was actually more mistakes made on this bike. So first of all, if you come over here and look at the amplifier, let's ignore the fact that I used cheap aluminum 4-gauge wire going into the 1200.4. This is our power lead, which is 4-gauge, and our ground lead appears to be, I don't know, 16, 14 gauge. So where the battery, for those that think it's a distant thing, there's a limitless battery right here. So the battery goes to the distribution block, then from the distribution block, they split off. They ran a 4-gauge to the power, and then they ran a 14-gauge to the ground. They did the same thing over here on the 800.4. They ran an 8-gauge to the power, and once again, they ran a 14-gauge to the ground. Absolutely no sense whatsoever. On top of that, you'll notice that the outputs of the amplifier are bridged. So this is a 12-speaker bike, not counting the horns, and we have one amplifier for the tweeters, another amplifier for the mid-bass drivers, another amplifier for the mids, and then we have a 4-channel in the front. There is no reason to bridge the output of these amplifiers. If you do that, you're forced to wire a bunch of speakers in series parallel, and then you lose the control that you have over the bandpass frequencies on the DSP. On top of that, I suspected that some of these impedances would be too low. So we're at 3 ohms here, which is fine. We're at 3 ohms here, which is fine. This amplifier is where we have the problem. So we have 1.7 ohms. So less than 4 ohms on a bridge channel, which is what this amplifier wants to see. No wonder the amp's going into protection, because we're at half the impedance we're supposed to be on this channel. And on this channel, we're at 2.5 ohms. So just by looking at the wiring, I knew the impedance was going to be too low, and it is too low. And for those of you that think that maybe this is the 2 ohm model, it is not. It is the 4 ohm model of the amplifier, because I unbolted it and I checked. As you could see right there, it's a 1200.4 Evo 2.14 ohms. So this amp never had a chance of being able to play and not shut off. There's a bunch of things we have to fix, but why? Plus I don't even know where you get the Radio Shack house switch that they hooked up that parallels this battery with the factory battery. There's a much better ways to do this. I don't know why you would do that and then hot glue it in here, but whatever. We're not here to discuss the fabrication. We're here to discuss the fact that basic wiring was not done properly. 4-gauge, this amplifier draws well over 70 amps of current. Everybody knows that you need at least aluminum 4-gauge to be able to handle that. You need copper 4-gauge to be able to handle that. You have aluminum 4-gauge on one side, and then you have a 14-gauge on the other. Absolutely not right. It's not opinion, it's fact. So let's get in here and start fixing this mess.